Out of this picture, there's one man who led the Pacers to the NBA Finals. Can you find out who it is? That's right. The man all by himself in this picture, James Johnson. James Johnson is the 16-year NBA vet who has been a part of 10 different teams over his career and where he is the 9th oldest player in the league today. This seemingly average bench player for a championship caliber team actually has a wild story that has labeled him the most feared player in the NBA. So today, I want to tell you viewers about James Johnson and his unconventional story of getting to the NBA. To start this story, we head back to my region of the United States, but specifically, the state that doesn't exist, Wyoming. Now, it wasn't until middle school when Johnson moved back to Wyoming from California, and where his parents definitely had an impact on his choice of sports starting out, as his mother and father were both kickboxing winners and champions. This led to Johnson and his siblings also holding black belts of varying degrees, and Johnson gravitating more towards football as another sport. However, after the football season 8th grade year, he told Slam magazine in 2012, "I was headed home and all my friends were headed to basketball practice. I was never one to play video games or anything like that, so I ended up joining it." This decision turned out not to be too bad. As freshman year for East Cheyenne in 2003, Johnson started for the varsity team. Freshman and sophomore seasons, I could not find any stats on Johnson, but I know the team made the state semifinals each season and that Johnson was a big part of that happening. Adding on to his junior season, Johnson helped lead the Thunderbirds of East Cheyenne to a 4A state title with a convincing 62-49 victory, where he averaged 21 points, 5 blocks, and 4 rebounds per game this season, while also earning all-state honors. What made his junior season even better was during spring, James got his first MMA bout when the promoter was looking for last-minute fill-ins for the amateur card. Now before this fight, Johnson claimed 7 world karate titles and 9 national ones, and he was 20-0 as a kickboxer, so I don't think he was too worried about this last-minute bout. As for the fight, it lasted just a minute and 27 seconds, with Johnson coming out victorious. Then before his senior season in Wyoming, he went to the 2006 Summer Nike All-American Senior All-Star Game, being co-MVP of the camp, competing against names such as Dante Green and Echuan Moore. The very next month in August, Johnson verbally committed to Wake Forest over schools like Cincinnati, Kansas, and Wyoming. Also committed the same week as Jeff Teague. The reason why Johnson chose Wake over the other places was that he said, "Those are the guys that gave me a chance when nobody was seeing me. I didn't get a real look nowhere because all of the kids from Wyoming aren't good." Senior year in 06, Johnson put up a monster 28 points per game to go along with 9 rebounds, losing the state semifinals this season, but still making the all-state team. He also ranks 3rd in Wyoming high school basketball history for blocks. Coming out of his successful high school career, Rivals.com had him ranked as the number 16 small forward and 62nd player in the nation while being a 4-star recruit. Winston-Salem, North Carolina is where Johnson would be the next 2 years, and where freshman year was great to say the least. He saw action in all 31 games, and where he started 28 of those, averaging 14.6 points, 8.1 rebounds, which both led the team on 48% from the field. Despite the team going 18-13, Johnson was named 3rd team All-ACC, the 3rd Wake freshman to do so, unanimous selection for the ACC All-Freshman team, finished runner-up in voting for ACC Rookie of the Year, then named a Freshman All-American by multiple publications. Sophomore season was improvement, now up to 15 points per game, 8.5 rebounds per game, 2 assists per game, and shooting 54% from the field. Wake Forest finished the regular season at 24-5, and where once again he gained 3rd team All-ACC honors. This Demon Deacons team was the number 8 team in the nation going into their conference tourney, who had the likes of Johnson himself, freshman Al-Farouq Aminu, sophomore Jeff Teague, and junior Ish Smith. They got upset by Maryland in the ACC tournament, then upset by Cleveland State in March Madness. Not the best way to end your collegiate career. However though, the story of the most feared man in NBA history was starting to materialize, as Jeff Teague said on Draymond Green's podcast.
"I tell everybody, I seen him knock out 3 dudes at one time, seen him knock out 7-footer. I ain't seen it all. But that's how I was in college, bro. Our freshman year, they kept calling me Mike Conley when I came to Wake Forest, the football players. And it would piss me off. Like, yo, they was like, "Mike Conley, what's up?" And I'm like, "Bro, don't call me Mike Conley, bro." And JJ, we ain't really know each other yet. He was like, "You calling Mike Conley again, I'm gonna knock you out." But then nobody know that he had this kickboxing resume. And I'm like, "Damn, bro, right on." He like, "Nah, bro, I'm tired of hearing him say that, bro. He say it again, I'm gonna knock him out." And football players like, "Well, show me." James like, come on. Football player like, we just talking shit, bro. We cool, bro. And then somebody told him, like one of the coaches was like, hey, bro, leave him alone. He not who y'all think he is. And everybody like, what he do? And the coaches started telling him like, bro, he a kickboxer.
The 2009 draft was up next for Johnson, and he was a consensus first-round selection. Just depended on where. But at the 16th pick, 22-year-old James Johnson was drafted by the Bulls, and we had a tough time scratching Tom Thibodeau's rotation. Rookie year, he saw action in 65 games out of 11 minutes per game, where his stat line was just 3.9 points, 2 rebounds on 45% from the field. So definitely a tough rookie year, but it was just the start. Well, I spoke too soon, as Johnson fell way out of favor of the Bulls' rotation, just 13 games in Chicago before being sent down to the D-League. Then he got traded to Toronto, where he started in all 25 games there. 2011 to 2012 was a full year with the Raptors, where he put up similar stats to his time the season prior, and in Toronto during a practice, 3 basketballs were lodged in the net, where then Ed Davis and Gerard Bayless struck upon the brilliant idea of having Johnson knock the ball loose with his feet. He accepted, and aiming a spinning heel kick right at the rim. His foot hit the rim while dislodging the basketballs. Another trade to Sacramento, where he was more in a bench role again, starting just 11 games. Then 2013 saw Johnson start in the Grizzlies D-League team, but he got signed to NBA roster December 13th. Memphis is actually the place he became aware of his nickname Bloodsport. Apparently, he didn't know about this dubbed nickname until his year in Memphis. Back in Toronto from 2014 to 2016, again, in a bench role for the Raptors, but where his altercation number 1 took place. On December 19th in Detroit, Johnson took a hard foul from Andre Drummond. Both were separated pretty quickly, with Andre getting a flagrant, and this all stemmed from a Johnson dunk on Drummond the prior possession. Then the next 3.5 seasons from 2016 to 2020 was when the league was really fearful of this Wyoming man, also where he had his best NBA statistical seasons. For starters, Johnson's stats in his Miami Heat time was 24 minutes a game, 10.3 points per game, 4.3 rebounds per game, and 3.2 assists per game. He was also 5th in the 6th Man of the Year voting for the 16-17 season. Where it gets good though is that Johnson had 3 instances of scruffles, with his first being in January of 2017. Hassan Whiteside got an offensive rebound, Taurean Prince then fouled Whiteside a little too hard, and Johnson took exception with a shove. Both guys got ejected for this play and somehow ended up face-to-face again. Fast forward a year to January 2018 and we were back in Toronto. An inbound play in the third quarter saw Johnson and Serge Ibaka trade some punches with slight connections. Ibaka seemed not to want the smoke when Johnson stepped up to him though. Obviously, both were ejected from the game, with both also being suspended for 1 game. Finally, in the same 2018 season during the playoffs versus the 76ers, Robert Covington made a sort of hard foul and Johnson immediately came up to shove Covington. Then Ben Simmons came over and where both of them had a few words before being broken up, with technicals given to Johnson and Covington. Then once January 2020 came around, James Johnson was traded to Minnesota, where he laid low for a while. Finished the 1920 season with the T-Wolves, went to Dallas for 29 games the next season, had a quick altercation with both Caleb and Cody Martin over just some seemingly smack talk, then got traded mid-season to the Pelicans, signed with the Nets for the 21-22 season, and now has been signed with the Pacers for the past 3 seasons. With the Pacers, I think he got back to the most feared ways, because during his time here is where the iconic fight graphic was shown to us during the game, and where he said on a podcast in 2024 that,
"But you believe that if you was to train, you could jump back in there with John Jones and them boys."
I truly believe that.
The Athletic has held anonymous polls of NBA players over various topics the past couple of years. Johnson was named the most feared player in 2023, 2024, and 2025. While just being on the bench, he still got this title. That should say something. Can't forget his exchange with Isaiah Stewart and being ejected after 2 minutes in these finals. But who could have guessed that the most feared man in NBA history was from the little state of Wyoming? He has built a long NBA career and grew into a respectable persona across the league, which has given hope to many players no matter the skill set, and kids from his state and others like it. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, the subscribe button, and hitting the bell notifications. Thank you.